On behalf of America's pork producers and Pork the Other White Meat, we want to thank you, and we thank you here for coming to see Pork the Other White Meat 400. Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for today's running of the Pork the Other White Meat 400.
Command has been given to start the engines here at the
Speedway.
Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's ARCA RE Series action here on the Speed Channel. 40 drivers getting set to do battle. The Atlanta Motor Speedway, everyone. 40 drivers getting set for 249 miles of action in the Pork the Other White Meat 400K at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's ARCA RE Series action here on the Speed Channel. A lot of stories down on pit road. Let's check in first with Matt Yoakum.
Steve, youth and experience make up row 3 as 23-year-old Kevin Conway makes his ARCA debut in a car partly owned by former Winston Cup star and a car that nearly won here in the fall at Atlanta last year. Starting alongside is veteran Tim Steele. 2 weeks ago, he crew, and now the new crew. He tries to clean house here at Atlanta, looking for his 4th ARCA victory. The Genius Alaska.
Well, Matt, some familiar names grace the grid. Also may have the next Shauna Robinson in this field. For the first time in the 43-year history of this track, more than one woman will race a stock car in the same weekend. We actually have 3, including Shauna, in the Cup race. Remember these names, Sunny Hobbs and Tina Gordon, as they try to make you forget their gender and focus on their driving. We shift the focus now to our star pit reporter for the day, Mr. Michael Waltrip.
Wow, star. I like that. This race here today in Atlanta. Never raced here before. So a little bit of apprehension, I'm sure, but if you consider this, last year he started 5 times. You know, 11th was. There's a bunch of great drivers mixed in this field, young drivers who don't even know what's going on yet. They're going out to find out. And if I were them, I would be so thankful that there's one guy in this field, and that's Frank Kimmel. He's a constant. He's a steady. These kids think there's something. They go beat Frank Kimmel, and everybody something. So if I was those guys, I'd go up and kiss Frank. No, wait, if I was the girls, I'd go up and kiss Frank Kimmel. If I was the guys, I'd pat him on the back and say, thanks for being here, bud. What do you think about all that, Steve?
Wow, that was impressive, Michael Waltrip. He is a star, but folks, we have some horsepower up here in the booth. Steve Burns alongside Jeff Hammond and Larry McReynolds. We're going to say it now. It won't be the last time. Fast racetrack.
I'm telling you right now, Larry, when you come to Atlanta, this place right here is so fast. This is a mini Daytona or Talladega. The guys are going off in the corner excess of 200 miles an hour, average lap times in excess of 188. I mean, tell you, it is an exciting racetrack. I love to come here and watch a good race.
Well, don't take the speeds for granted, and certainly don't take this ARCA RE series for granted. We talked to Michael Waltrip, we talked about Ernie Irvin, add Davey Allison to that list. Yeah, all 3 of them, Daytona 500 winners. What they also have in common, they all won an ARCA race here at Atlanta. Big inspiration for the 43 guys and girls in this race today that you can go on the Winston Cup, just win your race here in ARCA at Atlanta.
ARCA RE Series has been racing here since 1984. Let's take a look at today's starting grid. Good mix, guys. Youngsters and veterans. Michael Waltrip mentioned Frank Kimmel.
Exactly. He defending champion last year. He feels very confident he's got the car to beat here today again.
We saw Kevin Conway. He's in a car owned by Ernie Irvin.
We talked about Tina Gordon. This is her 3rd ARCA start. All 3 starts has been in the top 10.
Justin Labonte, son of Terry Labonte, feeling very good again about his chances here today at Atlanta.
But you know, guys, we talk about speed. Yesterday was about how fast you can run. Today is about running those same speeds, but with 42 other cars out there around you. So it's definitely a different story today.
One of the biggest things that guys were concerned about when talking to the spotters, making sure that they did not get themselves in a problem as far as the closing rate here. During the race, you don't realize how fast you'll come up on somebody, and a lot of these cars up front are very fast, and some of the cars in the back haven't quite got the feel of the track yet, so that's going to be a major concern here as we get ready to start this race.
All right, folks, we're almost ready to go racing here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. ARCA RE Series action coming up here on the Speed Channel. We'll be back with you in just a minute for the green flag in the first of 162 laps as we watch Ernie Irvin. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's time for ARCA RE Series action here on the Speed Channel. Let's take a look at the race analysis.
Will be 40 cars starting, not 43 as in Winston Cup. 162 laps, 249 miles, 400 kilometers, over $215,000. Pit window, fuel window, 55 to 60 laps, 162 laps, Jeff. That's about a two-stop race.
It really is, Larry. And a lot of guys were talking to me earlier this morning, said the one thing they were kind of concerned with is the drop off in the tires this time at Atlanta. Normally they hung a little bit closer as far as lap times, but they've noticed a significant drop off of after about the first 10 or 12 laps. They're really concerned about how that's going to play out as the race progresses, especially with the big change in weather they have practice under. And here we're getting ready to go green.
22-year-old Chad Blunt, alongside the veteran Frank Kimmel, three-time ARCA Series champion, leads him off into turn one, and it's Frank Kimmel pulling out into the lead.
We'll see the groove move up. We already see from the practice been going on here after qualifying, when they was right around the bottom of the racetrack, they'll move up, they'll run 2 and 3 wide through the corners.
Let's check in with Michael Waltrip.
The car that you see leading the race, Frank Kimmel's ride, that's an old Jack Roush car. He sat on the pole with that same car here last November and finished third. Bill Kimmel and I just talked, and they think they can go a full gas stop on the tires that they'll have, but they'll be extremely greasy at the end of a run. We also both agreed that I have just enough information to be dangerous with his microphone.
That is a fact. The 07 car of David Elliott is off the pace. We remain under green. There you see the 07 of David Elliott. And the 26 of Brad Smith, also slow, pulling on to pit road. There's the 06 Cam Strader, 2001 Dash Series champion, making his very first start here at Atlanta. Norm Benning in the 84, also slow here in the opening laps.
He had problems qualifying yesterday.
The thing about the Brad Smith car, I noticed whenever he got ready, took the green flag, his car was smoking really bad down the back straightaway, so undoubtedly he's already got engine problems.
And Larry, you mentioned Tina Gordon there in the 66. Only 3 starts at ARCA, every one of them a top 10 start.
I mean, and we talked to her this morning, Steve. I mean, she has such a great attitude. Has this new sponsor here, just it's a one-race deal right now, posted. She has a 10-year-old son, but they never can watch each other perform because her son is on a traveling baseball team. He's playing baseball today in Russellville, Alabama. She's here racing in Atlanta, Georgia. She ran 2 full seasons of All-Pro, but just what an attitude. I mean, she's got that let's go get it attitude.
Larry, I asked her if her son thought it was a big deal, 10-year-old Seth, that she raced. And nah, his buddies do, but he doesn't.
But I got tickled at her. She was telling us about the speeds here at Atlanta, mile-and-a-half racetrack. And the only other 2 starts she had was at Daytona and Talladega. And she said, Larry, Steve, the biggest thing I had to work on was driving in these corners and not touching that brake pedal. She said it took me several laps to figure that out.
Oh, we got trouble in turn 2 with their car in the wall already.
Mark Gibson, the 59 car, is going to run for the series championship.
Whoa, 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 easy, guys, easy.
Caution is on the Speedway. That's a shame. Mark Gibson, we talked to him this morning. He's trying to run all the races, just can't find that sponsorship like a lot of these guys are trying to find.
And looking at it, Larry, it looked like he may have got in just a little bit high and just kind of got away from him. I couldn't really tell where anybody had gotten into him.
Going down into turn 1. I believe he got a little bit of help from Chase Montgomery in the 27 car.
If nothing else, he took the air off the spoiler for sure.
And you're entering these speeds, these corners at such high speeds. If your car, you don't want to be loose here getting in the corner. You want a little tug on that steering wheel. Somebody gives you a little bit of help like that, you end up in trouble.
Folks, stay with us. We'll be right back here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the Speed Channel. The ARCA RE Series racing here in Atlanta for the 34th time. They made their first debut here in 1984, a race won by the late, great Davey Allison. Pace car will pull off the racetrack, and that means we're going green, fellas.
And as Darrell likes to say, boogity boogity, here they come. I don't know about you, Larry, this is the most nervous part of any part of my day is when they have the restarts when I'm a crew chief.
Everybody's bunched up and trying to gain positions in a hurry after a restart.
And you never know when somebody might miss a shift. That's what I always worry about. Didn't get the tires cleaned off good.
We were looking out the back of Frank Kimmel's car at a fast-closing Tim Steele in the 16. Steele, Kimmel, both series champions in ARCA. The 83 car, Larry Hollenbach, getting a stop-and-go penalty for passing on the right on the restart. His teammate, 38 Greg Sarf, lost a motor, had to go to the garage area.
See these cars go through the corner right here. I mean, you roll this thing down in the corner, you turn down in, you're still on the throttle. Well, watch Frank Kimmel right here in the 46 car. Back off just a little bit there. Maybe just touch that brake right there. You pick the throttle up way before the center of the corner. You're not out of the throttle hardly any at all.
It's just a blink. It's just a blink.
4 car of Justin Labonte has been on and off pit road. Matt Yoakum, what's the story?
Steve, he made 2 stops at pit road. His crew chief is Eddie Sharp. Eddie, did you find something amiss in the motor area?
Yeah, we had a plug wire come loose. We had a little trouble with it all practice. Put a new one on it, and it just seemed to slip off again. A little oversight, but we're good to go. Got tires, fuel, and we're going to be there when it's over.
Now, the Labonte family owns this race car, but a stockbroker from the Atlanta, Georgia area, Kerry Shear, actually put up some of his retirement funds to buy a motor for this race car so the young Labonte can compete today. The Genie Zelasco.
Well, the pole sitter from Daytona, Chase Montgomery, also hanging out in the garage. Failure in the rear end, yes?
Yeah, we broke a gear coming out of 3. It's unfortunate. Started 25th. I had some problems with the car. These guys worked real hard all night and all day. I had the car working good. We were coming to the front. Had a little contact with 59. I want to apologize for that. That was my fault. But we're going to try to get back out there, see if we can go back.
They're working hard, and so is Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, I'm down in Frank Kimmel's pit. I just talked to Bill Kimmel. He said Frank's extremely happy with his race car so far today. He ran times around the 30, 40, 30, 50 second range, which is faster than they were able to run in happy hour yesterday afternoon. So he likes the balance on the car. He thinks Tim Steele will be a factor before it's over, guys.
All right, thank you, Michael. And guys, I don't know if we've mentioned, but the pole speed was right at 189 miles an hour.
His place is just so fast. We got a battle shaping up right here. This is the battle for second right here.
Tim Steele on the outside in the 16 has come back from a very serious injury here. He's testing a Winston Cup car for Bud Moore. Had a concussion. He's had to fight his way back. Battling with Chad Blunt in the 77, the 22-year-old out of Indiana. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Well, Steve, Michael Waltrip documented the leader, Frank Kimmel's car. Right behind in the 16 is 3-time Atlanta winner Tim Steele. He's not as happy. He talked to his crew chief, Walter Giles, and said his car is loose in the center of the corner, but tied up off. They were talking about the track bar adjustments they wanted to make under that stop, but they decided they just could not afford to pit and lose that valuable track position. So they're going to ride until their scheduled pit stop.
And Jeff, if he's loose in the middle, that's what they've got to work on first. They have to fix that. And you know what? If they get it where he can turn that steering wheel in the middle of the corner, it may not be near as tight up off the corner, and the front will turn better on the exit.
Yeah, and that's always one of the things that you got to try to figure out with a driver when you're going through race situations. You got to get him to clarify exactly where his biggest problem is on entry in the center, so you can work on that problem, will allow him to get back in the throttle. Because at this place right here, if you're off the throttle very much, you'll be in a lot of trouble and you'll lose a lot of time.
And guys, I noticed Kimmel and Chad Blunt running distinctly different grooves.
That's the great thing about Atlanta. 24-degree banking. We've seen in the last few years here. You can run about around the bottom, you run at the top, but where you run is where your car feels the most comfortable, where you're making the most time. And if you're like Frank Kimmel out there right now with a little over a 2-second lead, he will call his crew chief and say, I'm going to move it around a little bit. Give me my lap times. Michael Waltrip, is that what Frank Kimmel's doing?
Well, Frank's got his car balanced well. He can move all over the racetrack. What's interesting, I think, Larry, is the 77 car, Chad Blount. He's got a faster car than Tim Steele, but we documented at the beginning of the show. First time he's ever been here. He doesn't know what happens if he squeezes that car down underneath the 16 car. It'll get loose. He's been warned about that. He tiptoed into that water a little bit, felt what it was like, backed off, didn't like it, got out of there. Now he's going to go back and attack again. But it's fun to watch these guys that are fast, smart race car drivers like Chad test the waters, figure out what it's going to take to be successful here on the Super Speedway.
All right, Michael, taking a look. Chad Blunt and running in the 3rd position. Now the leader, Frank Kimmel, in the 46, 3-time series champion. 22 car, Damon Lusk, in the 4th position.
And what's interesting about that car, his owner, Steve Palick of WP Motorsports, he decided to start a program called One Race America. What he does, every city they go to race at, he takes a car, a hauler, does pit stops. He goes into the inner city and trying to educate kids, underprivileged kids, what this sport is all about.
Tim Steele in the 16 being shown in 2nd position. Chad Blunt in the 77 is 3rd. You're on board with Chad Blunt. 29 laps complete of 162 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You're watching ARCA Racing on the Speed Channel. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Frank Kimmel leading after 32 of 162 laps here in the ARCA Series champion. The number 16 of Tim Steele just in front of the 22 of Damon Lusk.
Whoa!
Sideways.
He had his hands full there.
I could hear him suck up about that time. Like, whoa!
It'll take him about a lap or two to regroup after that one.
Frank Kimmel, the leader, the 46 car.
Out to a little over a 5-second lead right now.
16 of Tim Steele is on pit road. Matt Yoakum.
About 5 laps ago, Tim Steele came on the radio and he says the car is starting to lay over on the right front. He said, I feel like maybe the spring rubber might have popped out. And then he came out 2 laps ago and said, guys, I've got a right front tire going down. I've got a right front tire going down. So he waited 1 more lap just to make sure. 18.7 seconds and made his way to pit road for 4 fresh tires.
Well, Jeff, that accounts for why he got loose getting in the corner. Right front tire going down. It's like having a real soft right front spring, just dips down, and he's lucky that's all he happened, just got out of shape.
You're exactly right. In a place like here in Atlanta, normally when you get a right front going down, it goes down so quick. Normally you get into the wall, and you're lucky to be able to continue. Michael?
He is lucky to be able to continue, Jeff, but a lot of times you're really surprised that he was able to go that long. So the crew needs to look at those tires real close and see what's going on with them, because man, if it goes down, usually you don't have an extra lap or 2 to make sure here at Atlanta. You're in the turn for so long here, you're constantly going left, and it's really hard on that right front tire.
Those are the tires Michael Waltrip was referring to.
They run a Hoosier tire here, but it's still a radial tire, a lot like the Goodyear tire that the Winston Cup and Busch cars run here.
Frank Kimmel continuing to lead here. There he is in that 46 car, 3-time champion of the ARCA RE/MAX Series.
Mr. Consistency right there. It's nice and smooth.
Week in, week out.
The guys running in 2nd place, Chad Blunt. One thing I found interesting this morning when I was talking to his crew, the engines in that car, because it is a Dodge.
Only Dodge in the
field. And they're done by Ernie Elliott, local Georgia boy.
And race cars came from Chip Ganassi.
Exactly.
And he uses Sterling Mahler and spotter as well.
Lauren Ranier. 22 car, Damon Lusk. He's from Kennewick, Washington. Had a good run at Daytona. 67 car of Jason Jarrett, currently in the 4th position.
One of the funny things about Jason Jarrett, he's got legendary Red Farmer working with him as a mentor, you might say. And we were talking about, you know, what's going on, Red? Everything good? He said, yeah, I'm really excited about today. He said, you know, we got the car working really well, and I really feel like Jason's got his head screwed on just exactly where you wanted on today. And one thing he wanted to add was, guys, guess where I'm going tonight? I'm going back to Talladega. I'm going to run a dirt track race tonight.
Imagine that.
Hey, guys, look at Michael Vergers. We saw him at Daytona. 32 years old. He was born in Holland, lived in Spain for 16 years, then moved to Great Britain.
And still lives there, commutes back and forth. Bob Shack's looking after his car, and they actually are talking about possibly in latter part of the season running 2 to 3 Winston Cup races like Indy, Kansas, maybe even the 2nd Charlotte race.
53 car, excuse me, of Robert Burrows in the 6th position. There's Robert. Started 11th, currently 6th. Right behind him, right behind Burrows in the 53. Cam Strader in the 06.
And Tina Gordon in the 66, she just keeps working her way through the field right here. Car right around the bottom of the racetrack.
And Larry, I thought what was interesting, she said she's not intimidated by the speed here.
I was surprised at some of the answers she was giving us. Again, only her third ARCA start. Her other 2 starts at Daytona and Talladega, we talked about early. She's not intimidated at all.
Well, 2 things I think she's got in her favor. She had Mark Thompson working with her, helping her kind of work things through. As we look down to see the 18 car,
Tim Mitchell
on the pit road right there making a tire change. I'm surprised a lot of these guys are making tire changes this early on during the race.
You would have to believe the only reason they're doing it, they're having a problem, because they can run about 60 laps, 55, 60 laps. We're at lap 41, so a good 15 or 20 laps shy of a fuel window.
Let's go down to Matt Yoka. Matt.
Well, Larry, Matt, we were talking about the spring rubber flat right front tire issue for Tim Steele. The bad news, the spring rubber fell out. More bad news, they didn't make any adjustments and put that spring rubber back in because they thought the tire was flat.
Well, what he's talking about, again, these guys, they'll start with adjustments in their car. The right front spring, you put a rubber in it, actually stiffens the rate of that spring. It just gives you a little bit of adjustment. Tim thought he had a flat tire. There's a spring rubber right there. It goes right in the spring. It'll increase the rate, the size of that rubber, maybe 100, 150 pounds. Now he's still too loose getting in the corner because his right front spring is too soft.
Yeah, and if you notice right there, they're trying to pick out the hardness of rubber they want to put back in. You can't overcompensate and make it too stiff, and the car will slide just about as bad as it is getting loose. So you got to be careful putting the right thing in the right front to make it balance properly.
Tim Steele being shown in the 24th position, but back up front, it's Frank Kimmel. We'll be back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're a quarter of the way through the other white meat 400. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Frank Kimmel leads Chad Blunt, Damon Lusk, and 37 other drivers here. It's ARCA RE Series action. It's the other white meat 400. Jeff Hammond, did you know there are 380,000 hogs in the state of Georgia?
No. I had to think about it, man. I was trying to remember because I once knew how many were in the state of North Carolina, believe it.
No, you did not.
I did.
You can only get by with saying that because DW's not up here.
That's right.
He'd be all over you on that one.
Look, I got news for you right now. At one time or another, I do understand about how what it takes to get this pork prepared. I understand that. I work for Junior Johnson. You forget that.
Getting down to about, 15 laps, 10, 15 laps for a pit stop here. Here's a guy, Robert Burrows, car 53. He's 48 years old. He's from Laurel, Mississippi. He owns a diesel company and does this just for fun. But, I mean, he qualified 10th, and he's sitting here running in 6th position. I bet he is having fun today.
Oh, he sure is. I guarantee you that when the car's working good, it's like the man once told me, when a car's working good, it's always fun. But when you get out there and you got an ill-handling race car, especially when you come to a place like Atlanta was so fast, it is really nerve-wracking. But hey, his car like it's right now working very smooth.
There's Cam Strader in the 06. This is for 8th and 9th. Looking back in the 17, that's Kevin Conway in Ernie Irvin's race car.
Yes, it is. And he's a driving instructor for the Richard Petty driving experience at Lowe's Motor Speedway, Atlanta Motor Speedway here, and also at Texas. But he's competed in about everything you can compete in. ASA, late models, legends, mini sprints, go-karts. There's Ernie Irvin. I saw him in the garage area this morning. He said, Kim finally found me something to do. Frank Kimmel's in the wall, our leader.
Oh, easy, Frank.
Caution is on the speedway.
On lap 51, the leader, Frank Kimmel, he had led every single lap here this afternoon, hard into the wall from the right front corner.
And guys, that looks like the results from a right front tire going down.
Exactly. That's what normally happens. We talked about it earlier with Tim Steele. This is usually what happens when the right front goes down. It's into the wall. There's not a whole lot you can do about it.
A lot of damage to that car.
Caution on lap 51, our third of the afternoon. Let's look at the replay, guys.
All right, this is going down into turn 1. He just cleared some lap traffic, turning down in there. Everything looks normal right here. Yes, sir. Right front tire. You see the piece of the tire come off. 52 car almost gets into the back of him. Rick
Tennis made a great save there. Michael Waltrip.
They don't have any brakes. The car slid through the pit without any brakes. She hit the right front end of the wall as hard as Frank did. He came from the bottom of the track, guys, up to the top to hit. So they're going to have to take that car behind the wall. Talking to Bill Kimmel early in the race, he was very confident that those Hoosier tires would go an entire gas stop. But as you can see here, he dives down to the bottom of the racetrack. Absolutely the worst place that he could have been and lose the right front tire. It goes up the hill, contacts the outside wall. It'll be interesting to check up and down pit road, look at these other guys' tires and see what kind of wear they're getting. Wear generally improves as the race goes along, but we were almost to a window there where guys were starting to pit. Jason Jarrett was coming in the next lap. Misfortune for Frank Kimmel. Fortunate for Jason that he didn't have to make a pit stop before the caution fell, guys.
Yeah, and Larry, did you see the crew road running down the pit road a minute ago? As we replay again, watch very carefully. When the tire does let go, you'll see a big old chunk of rubber fly over right there. It flies out right there over top of the blue car 62. And from that point right there, as Darrell would say, you're just along for the ride.
You can turn the wheel, and it's going to keep going straight.
That's his sister. That's Frank Kimmel's sister. She can't believe the luck because Frank had led every single lap here this afternoon.
And he had his act together. Pit road will be busy now.
Hood's up on Kimmel's car. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
And Steve, the 77 makes his way in for service. He was talking on the radio to his crew, said the car is loose and really loose up off the corner on his exit. They told him to try to change his line, maybe move up a little bit to see if that might help. It really didn't help. They made a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment on the 77 car to Jeannie.
Caution could not have come at a better time for the 66 of Tina Gordon. She was complaining about the tires, saying she was really starting to lose grip. So she came in, and that's exactly what she got, guys. 4 tires and all the fuel she could handle.
I believe Jason Jarrett won the battle off pit road. Everybody changing 4 tires, filling up with fuel here.
Let's go to Michael Waltrip.
I'm in Jason Jarrett's pit. High fives all around, as you can see here. They won the battle off of pit road, took the lead. Jason wasn't complaining about his car. He said it was a little tight, but I want to look here. This is a key deal. This tire is not worn out. There's still plenty of tread left on this right front tire off of Jason Jarrett's car. So you can't figure exactly why Frank might have lost the tire. Obviously, his car was balanced well as well. Maybe cut it down, guys. Maybe just ran over something. Who knows?
Michael Waltrip, famous broadcaster. He has his own show on the Speed Channel.
Yes, he does.
All right. That's what's left of Frank Kimmel's tire. We'll be back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the Speed Channel. Frank Kimmel led the first 51 laps, but a picture's worth 1,000 words. His sister can't believe it. Frank Kimmel, right front tire, into the wall. There he sits on pit road. Let's check in now with Matt Yoakum. Matt?
Well, Steve, under that caution, young Justin Labonte made not 1, 2, but he made 3 stops. The reason? The gremlins with the spark plug wire that kept popping off during practice and earlier in the race surfaced again. So this time, his father, Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte, came on the radio and he talked to Eddie Sharp, the crew chief, said, why don't you try a tie wrap and see if you can tie wrap that boot around the spark plug so maybe it won't pop off any longer. And that's basically what they did. They're hoping that fixes the problem for the 4 car.
All right, thanks, Matt. We're ready to go back to racing. Jason Jarrett, 3rd generation driver, brings the field to the green flag. This will be lap 60 of 162.
And this is when it really gets hairy. You have all those lap down cars on the inside, and it really gets big. Look at Tim Steele in that 16 car. He's trying to make his lap back up. Had to make that green flag stop earlier and got a lap down.
He sure did. He has a very fast race car, and if he can get that bad boy out there working again like it was early on, he still may have an opportunity to win this race.
Tim Steele won the series championship in 1993, 96, and 97. As we said, he had suffered a bad head injury here 5 years ago. The 06 Cam Strader.
On board with him.
The 39, Doug Stevens, just went past him. Stevens in the 6th position. Strader is 7th. And look at Justin Labonte. They've got that spark plug wire figured out, and he's starting to move forward. And look at that crowd in front of him.
I mean, you can tell he has all 8 cylinders working now. You see how he went down the back straightaway there. His car's working good. His car's running good. Right around the bottom of the racetrack. Just needs to get back up there where he can run with these guys.
He doesn't really want to lose them, but at the same time, he's got to show just a little bit of patience. This is a bad time when everybody's all kind of bunched up.
Doug Stevens in that blue 39 and Cam Strader in the 06. They're going to battle. Stevens is a local driver, started racing Legends cars here.
And I got a quick story about Doug Stevens. Looks like Cam Strader, though, in the 06, he's going to get him for the position right here. Doug Stevens has a shop here locally that he works on Bandoleros and Legends. 2 years ago, I had my son Brandon down here with a Bandolero. We wrecked bad here at the quarter mile Atlanta. He let us use his shop all night long and helped us get that car back together.
Stevens car sponsored by Jasper Engines,
who also sponsors the 77 car in Winston Cup, Dave Blaney.
Justin Labonte in the 4, setting up Rick Tennis in the 52. Let's see if he can get by him.
It's a battle for 14th position. Well, Justin's car just working really good.
Tennis moves aside, but he's not ready to give up the position yet. Labonte back in behind him.
Coming down into turn 1 right here. Normally the bottom groove's a little better in 1 and 2. Get a little better bite down there. He's going to make the pass easily. You can run the high groove a lot better in 3 and 4 than you can 1 and 2.
This is a battle for second. The 77, Chad Blunt. 22, Damon Lusk. Chad Blunt in that 77, just 22 years old, making his first start here.
Not ready to give up this battle yet. Down the back straightaway here into turn 3.
He drives it right on underneath him right there and makes the passes to get ready to come up off of turn 4. Car looks like it's working really good on entry right there. Really strong.
Damon Lusk, 24 years old, started in the 8th position today. There's your leader, the 67 of Jason Jarrett. Let's check in with the TV star, Michael Walker.
Well, Dad, former Winston Cup champion Dale Jarrett, is being a cheerleader at this point. He's told Jason the last couple of laps he's two-tenths of a second faster than any other car on the racetrack. He told the crew what a super job they did getting him out in front, just using some of his experience and kind words to settle this group. You can tell they're on it. They're excited, and Jason's doing a heck of a job driving away from Chad Blunt, who just drove into the second position around the 22 car.
And there we see Father Dale Jarrett on top of the truck, I say, watching his son Jason as he works through traffic.
Hey, Jeff, interesting sponsor on that 67, Biomet. They make artificial knees and hips replacement.
Really?
Yep. In fact, Jason was telling me this morning they built a knee for the wrestler, none other than Hulk Hogan.
You know what? I might need to keep a contact with those folks. My old knee's not too good in shape right now either. I may need to have some work done on it someday.
Big stud house rodeo star like yourself.
Yeah. Age does have a way of catching up with you.
Hey, Jason said they're looking at the possibility of running a couple Winston Cup races later in the season.
You know, you're right about that, but there's one thing also when we're talking about Red Farmer. Red said that they're really going to make a strong push to win this championship this year. And if they're able to pull off this victory today, it's going to put him in excellent position, especially with Frank Kimmel having problems. And
Jason, you know, made some starts in the Busch Series years ago. He says to win this championship would give him a lot of credibility to get his career back on track.
And they also told me, I believe he's scheduled to drive this car. They got him under contract for the next 3 years, so they've got a really solid deal.
Justin Labonte in that 4 car goes by Andy Belmont in the 1 car. He just continues to move ahead. This is the battle right here for 11th. Goes by the 19 car.
Keith Mert in the 19.
He's a lap down. That was not for a position there.
Jason Jarrett, the leader. We're working lap 71 of 162 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's the Pork the Other White Meat 400. You're watching it on the Speed Channel. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Steve Burns, Larry McReynolds, Jeff Hammond, Jeannie Zelasco, Matt Yoakum, and Michael Waltrip bringing you the Pork the Other White Meat 400. Jason Jarrett, there he is in that number 67. He's your leader, working lap 75.
A little over 3 seconds.
Sonny Hobbs headed back to the garage area. She's a graduate of the American University in Washington, D.C. Her day will end early.
Plans on attempting the whole ARCA schedule. Like a lot of these guys on this circuit told us this morning, just would like to secure that sponsorship to be able to do it.
That's she's a teammate to Andy Belmont.
See Jason Jarrett working his way around traffic right there as he
Car really working good around the bottom.
Making it look easy.
Take a look at the interval between Jason Jarrett and second place Chad Blunt. There he is, the 77. 22 years old, out of Walkerton, Indiana, where the team is located. An interesting thing about him, guys, they're looking for a sponsor. His owner, Todd Braun, says, if you put your company on the side of this race car and we don't finish in the top 5 in points, we'll give you every penny back.
Not a bad deal. Finished 4th at Daytona last month.
Great opportunity for somebody.
And Blunt's a 4th-generation driver. His great-grandfather owned race cars. His grandfather won over 1,000 feature races. Trouble for Tim Steele. 16 car. What do you think, guys? Is it a motor?
It looks like he's shut down. It really
Yeah,
has.
I don't believe he's even running right there. He's just coasting.
That's not a good sign.
Let's check in with Matt Yoakum. Matt?
Well, Steve, I can tell you it's exactly that, a motor. He came on the radio and said, it's done. I'll meet you guys back in the garage. End of the day for Tim Steele.
Jason Jarrett has an awfully good race car, but 2 of the top contenders by the wayside, Frank Kimmel, after blowing that right front tire, now Tim Steele with the motor letting go here on lap 78.
And, you know, a lot of guys in the garage area thought Kimmel was going to win this race, so it is wide open. And Tina Gordon hasn't led today, started in the 10th position, but she's up to 4th. She's got a one-race sponsor with 3M Post-it notes, hoping to make that into a bigger deal.
And she, you know, she could tell she had a lot of confidence about this race team she's driving for. She said, you know, when I tell them something, they don't look at me. They don't question it. They believe in what I'm telling them, and they're really surrounding themselves with good people to make this a good program. Ricky Rudd's spotter, Rick Cordell's on top of the roof here spotting for her.
And that team is owned by Mark Thompson,
who at one time ran ARCA races.
And one other thing I'd like to add right there this morning, when I was down in the garage talking to her, one of the groups, which is Make-A-Wish, had come by with a young child, and she took time to spend with him. And I mean, it just really done my heart good to see how much time she spent with that young man. And she really warmed up to him. And I think right now she's probably got a fan for life right now as far as that's concerned.
Kevin Conway making an unscheduled stop. Matt Yoakum, problems?
Well, the 17 cars hit pit road. They're going to make a right side tire change for this 23-year-old. They're also going to make sure that they pull out that fender on the right front, right down to the bottom. You can see where the crew members are pulling that down. You can see a little bit of damage there on that right front, and he's down and away.
These guys tried to do everything right for this race. They actually hired out Stacy Compton's Busch Series pit crew, since the Busch teams are off this weekend, to come down here and pit the car. There you see Ernie Irvin, part owner in this program.
And Larry, we saw Eagle 1 on the car, but that is also a one-race sponsor.
I talked to Ernie this morning. I said, Ernie, where y'all work on this car? And he said, well, it reminds me a lot of Days of Thunder. We did it in my barn. Matt Yoakum.
And also, talking about the 59 Busch crew pitting this car. Also, Larry, how about veteran Henry Benfield gassing this car, number 17?
Henry's everywhere, isn't he, Jeff?
I'm telling you right now, I've known Henry since way back when, back like 75 is when I met Henry Benfield.
But you and Henry Benfield part of winning several championships.
Yes, sir. Junior Johnson's right there. He was a big part of us making sure we got our cars full of gas every Sunday and getting the job done right.
And we should say that uniform looks familiar because he's the gas man for Elliott Sadler currently in the Winston Cup Tour.
Very much a legend in this sport, and he can still get the job done after all these years. He's been around for a while.
Jason Jarrett in the 67.
Pulling up on the back of the 41, Wally Fowler. He's the lap car. Whoa, look at the 77. Chad Blunt just blows by Jason Jarrett.
I don't know if Jason even saw him.
Wow.
That's when we talk about you got to work traffic here, and you get yourself in trouble if you're not careful.
Chad Blunt is on the move.
Chad Blunt takes the lead from Jason Jarrett. Frank Kimmel sits on pit road. We'll be back. We're halfway here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway on the Speed Channel. There's your leader, Chad Blunt, in the 77. Jason Jarrett runs second in the 67. We're just past halfway at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. ARCA RE/MAX Series action.
Whoa. 64 car. Shelby Howard in trouble down the back straightaway off turn 2.
Everybody look out. Good job. Kept it out of the wall.
16 years old, Shelby Howard is. The youngest driver ever to start an ARCA race.
And Larry, we talked about him at Daytona. He was, or is, homeschooled.
Yes, he is. He takes a tutor on the road
Yeah,
with
we
him.
got a pretty good kick out of that because he'd run more practice his car and then go take a test and come back and practice.
Fourth caution of the day.
Good job.
Shelby Howard on pit road.
For 4 tires, full of fuel.
We'll take a break here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Chad Blunt is the leader. You take a look at your top 10 on the Speed Channel. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. ARCA RE Max Series action, and we are going to have pit stops. Leaders on pit road.
Been about 25 laps since they pitted. Good time to pit. Michael Waltrip.
Jason Jarrett slides in nice and smoothly into his pit. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for the number 67 Biomet car. The guys are on the right side. Looks like a smooth stop so far. Right front tire returned to the wall. Jackman around the car nicely. The guys are making no adjustments to the car. They're going to leave it like it was. Dad and son talk. They like what they got. Matt, what do you got down there?
Well, Mikey, down here at pit stall number 1, the leader, Chad Blunt, they've hooked the hose around the front of the valence. Now they come around to the left side of the car. They're not going to make any adjustments on the 77 car. And really, they didn't want to pit because they felt like their car was very good. But Lauren Ranier, who is a spotter, suggested, hey, Pete, your car is so good anyways. Come in, get fresh tires. We've got a very good car, Jeannie.
Well, I didn't know this, Tim Steele, but I guess Atlanta may be the home of kryptonite because the Man of Steel just taken down at every turn here. Your third trip behind here. What's happened to your day?
I think when they built this place, there's got to be kryptonite here somewhere, like you said. Before they changed it, we could do no wrong here, and since they changed it, it seems like you can't do no right. But at least this place has been a lot harder on me, so at least not cleaning concrete out of my helmet, I guess you'd say. So
that's always a good thing. You got a loose wheel out on the track, so someone else with a tough day. Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Jeannie. We mentioned that earlier. Tim was injured in a testing wreck here, driving Bud Moore's car, coming back from a serious head injury. And look at that loose wheel.
I don't dare try to sing.
Where's Darrell
Find
Waltrip
time
when
to
you
leave
need
me
him?
loose wheel? Where is he at when we need him? Robert Burrows in the 53 car. I believe we found where the wheel goes.
Yes, indeed.
He's making a perfect lap right now on the apron.
Right now.
Oh, I'm
coming back to pit road.
Now, if it goes on the pit road and comes down pit road, I'm out of here, guys.
The thing is right now, I wonder if that will count if it crosses over the start-finish line.
There's no tachometer to see what pit road speed is, though, with it.
I just hope nobody tries to run out there and grab that thing before it stops on its own.
22 of Damon Lusk. There's the problem.
Yes, it is.
And not to make light of that, because he backed that baby into the wall.
It's still moving. It's coming to pit road here for a car change.
That's going to come to the attention of his crew.
I believe it's below pit road speed, though.
Larry, it's been nice working with you today, buddy.
Yeah.
You picked a fine time to leave me loose, wheel.
He had to do it.
Couldn't stand.
Darrell will be proud of you.
We'll be right back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway here on the Speed Channel. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. ARCA RE Max Series action on the Speed Channel. Working caution for the 4th time today. Car, tough break, Larry. He's had 3 straight top 10 finishes coming in here.
Yeah, and I know we had a lot of fun with the tire and wheel going around the racetrack. This is a shame for Robert Burrows. I mean, we talked about him earlier, worked his way up in almost to the top 5. Out there having a great run, having lots of fun. We really hate it for Robert Burrows. But Matt Yoakum, how about the car that Ernie Irvin part owns?
Well, Larry, they're currently in the currently the 13th position. The 17 car has already made 2 stops. 1 to change the left side tires. The second to work on the cap where the drive plate is. It's loose. They're going to make 1 more stop to try and tighten that. The angle of entry for the air gun is very difficult, and they're afraid they're going to strip it. So they're going to try to take their time and bring him back in 1 more time. To Jeannie.
Now, when I see tools in the hand of a Kimmel, like Jimmy Kimmel of NFL on Fox fame, I get frightened. But this is Frank Kimmel, who is hard at work. I'm going to stop you for a moment. I know you got to get this motor ripped out of here and ready for your next race. But what happened?
It looks like we blew it right front. I don't really know why. Maybe it got punctured or something, but The Advanced Auto Parts Fork Ford was running. It was, man, what a great race car. It's been for us for a long time. I hated to wreck it. That's the first time we put a scratch on it. So pretty disappointing, but at least we're out front. Car's running really good. We got to get the motor out for Joe Ryan, the guys at the shop. We want it just like that for Nashville, so we'll go at him again, and we'll get the car down to Charlotte tomorrow and get the body fixed on it, and we'll be ready to go.
Keeping with the theme of the race, we go to Michael, the other Waltrip.
The other Waltrip, and the other Waltrip wants to let you know that the 67 is going to try to jump the 22 on the start. Not jump him, but get him on the start. He likes his car on fresh tires. It kind of goes away on old ones. The 66, hello, where's the camera? There we go. The 66, Tina Gordon likes her car on the long run. So she's wanting a long green flag run. And by looking at the scoring monitor, her car is fast once they run 15 or 20 laps. The 67 crew thought the 22 only got 2 tires because they beat them out. I thought they got 4. We argued, we've settled it. It was 4 tires for the 22, 4 tires for the 67, and 4 on the 66, whom thanked her crew for picking her up a spot. I'm getting out of the way. Number 18 has been running around with an engine that is about to expire, and he's finally going to give up the ghost. Larry Mack, he's got a real good car as he heads down in the corner, but I think he's going to be. No, he missed the corner. Anyway.
That's a terrible Larry Mack impression.
At least I'm not trying to sing down here, man. That was ugly. I question my participation in this charade of a broadcast at that point.
Hey, dude, hang on now. You've got your own show on the Speed Channel. You know you got to be a team player.
I'm with you.
All right, man.
I may sing. I've watched you do a turkey walk.
Hey, none of my...
hey, do the turkey walk, Michael.
Turkey walk. No, I injured myself.
Oh, come on.
Pulled my groin doing the turkey walk. Can you believe that? I'm on a show where we don't believe in team playing. We try to cut each other every chance we get. And so I'm getting used to you guys really kissing up to each other, and so I'm liking it. I'm liking the love I'm feeling up in the booth.
Well, I got some good news and bad news for you, buddy. You may not want to do the turkey walk, but we still got pictures of you doing the turkey walk.
Through the magic of videotape.
Here I go.
At Rockingham. Yep.
You think my singing?
We'll be back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway right after this on the Speed Channel. And we're still under caution here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Quickly to Jeannie Zelasco.
And I am with Sonny Hobbs, who was a disappointing day, but there's some thought you may get back out there. Now, you noticed some smoke in your car before anybody else did, I guess.
Yeah, I noticed it because it was right there at my legs, and I said, you know, there's smoke in the cockpit, and then it would go away, and so we thought we were just burning oil off the headers. Then on that last couple laps, I saw smoke coming out the back, so we decided to come in and see what it was, and there's just oil coming out the breathers on the valve covers. I think it looks worse than it is, but they want to play it safe, so.
All right, Steve Burns.
Thank you, Jeannie. We're just about to go back to green, and boys, I hate to say this because it happened at Daytona, but we've got some nasty-looking clouds on the horizon.
You have to race the racetrack. You have to race the sky. 73 laps to go. Everybody still have to make one more stop. Matt Yoakum.
Larry Mack, knowing you, that you are a big weather guru, Terry Labonte just talked to Justin and said, I'm going to head on down to the NASCAR trailer as they take the green flag and check out the NASCAR radar because it's getting very dark off turn 2.
Yes, it is. Got to pay attention to that because we are past halfway. The race is official. Should it rain? But we hope we go the whole distance, 162 laps.
We've worked 88 laps here this afternoon. Chad Blunt in the 77 is the leader. Jason Jarrett in the 67. Running second.
You know, we're talking about Justin Labonte on that restart. He really got up on the wheel. He's getting after him hard. He's got definitely a very fast race car. If he can just get up to those guys, I believe he can race with them.
40 cars started today's race, 8 being shown off the racetrack. We've also had 5 caution flag periods. Let's go down to Michael Waltrip, the turkey walker.
One of the 8 cars that are off the track is the number 53 of Robert Burrows. Robert pitted. It was a 2-tire stop. He was told 2 tires. When they dropped the jack, he took off. Robert, the left sides were loose, weren't they?
Yeah, they took the lugs off the left side. Miscommunication, you know. Not working with these guys every week, and Jimmy Kitchen's crew chief called for 2 tires, and somebody took the left rear off.
Well, you had a real competitive car. Your car was fast all day long. I know it's disappointing. What'd you think when she snapped around on you under caution? That had to be crazy.
Well, at the instant it snapped around, I seen the tires shoot off, so I knew what had happened.
Well, good run for you. You always run well at Atlanta. I know you're tore up.
Thank you, Mike. It's disappointing, you know. We had a good car. This car could have won the race, I thought. But we'll be back.
Thanks, Robert. Guys.
All right, thanks, Michael. Robert Burrows, 48 years old. The 4-car, Justin Labonte, back on pit road. He had moved all the way up to 6th position. Looks like he's headed for the garage.
I mean, they finally get their problem fixed with the spark plug wire. He's working his way back up where he can race with these guys, and now he's behind the wall.
Look at the 52 car. Rick Tennis into the wall. Hit it pretty hard.
Yes, he did.
Let's go down to Mike Yoakum. What's going on with the Labontes?
Well, let's talk to Eddie Sharp, the crew chief. Eddie, what's wrong with the Ford?
She finally broke. I think the plug wire coming loose. That thing misfired. May have hurt something, detonated something, and it finally blew up. We had a good race car. We were coming back. We were where we needed to be, and guys ahead of us just took 2 tires. We took 4. I think the rain was going to hold out long enough to get there, but not our day.
I know you're searching for sponsorship. When might we see Justin back in the ARCA car?
I'd love to see him every race this year. I love working with him. Kid really wants to be here. He's got a lot of talent, and I'm privileged to be back with this team.
Well, they're still searching for sponsorship, trying to get Justin a full-time deal here in ARCA.
All right, thanks, Matt.
Well, Steve, there's one thing I'm noticing right now. I think all these crew chiefs have called these drivers and told them the rain's coming. You better get to the head of the pack if you want to win this race. We've got ourselves a dogfight right now.
It's getting darker and darker and darker.
That's looking down into turn 2. You see heavy clouds. There's a leader, Damon Lusk in the 22, the 67 of Jason Jarrett, followed by Chad Blunt in the 77. 61 laps to go. Out of 162, this race 249 miles.
And we got a move right now going down to turn 1 by Chad Blunt, number 77, passes Jason Jarrett down into turn 1.
Hey, Jeff, I mentioned earlier, Chad Blunt comes from a racing family, 4 generations. His great-grandfather owned race cars. His grandfather won over 1,000 feature races and raced for 43 years. His dad, Bob Blunt, is a crew chief.
That's incredible. I mean, that there is racing history right there in itself. And undoubtedly, they have given him a very good feel for a race car.
Yeah, and he's 22 years old. You can just see the enthusiasm of this young man when you talk to him.
Well, I talked to him yesterday afternoon after he got through qualifying and sat her on the pole, and he had a smile ear to ear, and he was just really excited about the fact that he's here at Atlanta and having an opportunity to race against the likes of Frank Kimmel.
Damon Lusk in that red and white 22 continues to lead. Last lap, 176.67 miles per hour.
And he's not going to be back there for long. You see he's almost 2 miles an hour faster than Damon Lusk right now. Lap car right there, moves to the high side. He's going to lose a little momentum right there. Jason Jarrett, the 67, is going to try to take advantage of that right there.
Damon Lusk has 2 starts here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. He was 8th last year, 4th in 2000. Take a look at the 83 car. That's Larry Hollenbeck.
Whoa, look, you can see him in there. He is busy inside that cockpit.
SWAT bees.
But he saved it and kept going.
He was right behind the 48 of Kevin Belmont. There's Hollenbeck in the 83.
I guarantee you right now, he is probably still not taking a good deep breath yet.
Running in 21st position right now.
Hollenbeck, 53 years old, qualified 28. Take a look there, first, second, and third. It's Lusk, Blunt, and Jarrett. Let's see if we can beat the raindrops. 105 laps completed out of 162. You're watching ARCA RE Series action on the Speed Channel. 77, that's Chad Blunt. The 22, Damon Lusk. Lead change, smoke in front of them. There's a car turned around in front of them at turn 4.
It's the 21 car, I believe, with Todd Bowser.
Todd Bowser. Caution will be out for the 5th time today on lap 88.
That was a lucky break for all involved right there. Chad Bowser, he got lucky he didn't get into the wall, and the leaders are lucky they didn't get into him.
Yes, they are. This is where it'll get interesting. We're racing the weather. We still have a long way to go. We have about 50-something laps to go. But from that last pit stop, it would be borderline on these cars making it to the end should we be able to go the full distance of this race.
And then there you've got the other issue. You give up track position, and you could get caught back of the field.
Back in trouble. We have 12 cars on the lead lap. That's not a lot of cars on the lead lap. It just depends if they've been watching their radar close enough to know if that weather is close. And we can look and see it's pretty close.
Yeah, we've got a very good vantage point of what's going on here. But, hey, Larry, what's your crew chief hat on now? Are you coming down pit road?
If I'm at the back, absolutely. It's going to be a quickie yellow. And what that means that all the cars can pit. Under normal conditions, the first time by, only lead lap cars can pit. Then the next time, all the lap cars can pit. When they call quickie yellow, they monitor NASCAR. All the crew chiefs know that's what's going on. Anybody can come to pit road.
And look, we have 67 cars on pit road. Jason Jarrett. He's gambling this thing's going to go green. The rest of going to go the rest of the distance without having the weather. And Michael, I believe you're down there, aren't you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm a little bit surprised. The weather, the clouds are just freaking me out. If I'm the driver, I'm saying, no, let's don't pit. But these guys have decided to do so. They can make it from here to the finish, and they couldn't make it from where they last pitted to the finish. So he wasn't exactly happy with the way his car was handling. Coupled with the fact that they needed enough gas to get to the end, they decided the smart thing for them to do was bring the car to pit road. And the 66 car of Tina Gordon, right before that caution, she reported she thought something happened to the rear end, that it started vibrating terribly, and so they don't know what the story is on that, but they stayed out under this caution.
All right, thanks, Michael. Let's talk about the strategy as we see those freaky clouds, as Michael Waltrip.
Well, again, there's only 12 cars on the lead lap. Let's talk about Jason Jarrett, the 67 car. Big picture, championship. I mean, last year, in his rookie year, he won Rookie of the Year, finished second in points. You don't want to be out there and either have to pit under green, or you definitely don't want to be out there and run out of fuel. So sometimes you take a step back, you look at the 22 race picture, which is the full ARCA series.
And sometimes that's so hard to do, but that's, again, that may be where the experience of having a red farmer and everybody involved, along with your father, Dale Jarrett, saying, look, this thing is not over with yet. You've got a good enough race car. We can get you back to the front, and we've got to figure this race is going to be completed as we get ready to go back green.
And we actually only have 9 cars on the lead lap, so that even reduced the risk of pitting and coming in and making sure you got enough to go to the end. Green flag here, boys.
22, Damon Lusk is the leader. Chad Blunt in that 77. Cam Strader also picked up a spot in the 4th position. Lusk is the leader. Blunt is second. The 39 car of Doug Stevens will be black flagged for an infraction on the restart.
And what a shame. I mean, he was running in 7th position, been up there in the top 6 and 7 all day long, and that's really going to cost him.
And Larry, his infraction was because he got on the blend line wrong. I can't even say it, but explain what that means.
Well, you know, again, you have to turn 3 to get in position before coming to take the green flag, and you can only pass to the right-hand side to the start-finish line. If you're out of position at any one of those places before the green flag displayed, they bring you in for a stop-and-go penalty.
As we can see a minute ago, the 67 car, he is really coming up through the field. Hopefully, he hasn't lost contact with the leaders, but he is really making up a lot of time here very quickly as he gets ready to close on Tina Gordon right there. And undoubtedly, she must have a problem because this is not the way she's been running all day.
She's been running much better than that. But I think also what we're seeing, Jeff, you talked about it earlier, new tires are worth a lot here. The older tires lose grip. You put those fresh tires on there, lots of grip. You can maneuver that race car, which is what Jason Jarrett's doing right now.
We just saw the blue 39 of Doug Stevens. He's finally coming to pit road to adhere to the black flag penalty. Damon Lusk in the 22 car. As I said, he's got 2 starts here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, an 8th last year, a 4th in 2000. Hasn't won yet in the ARCA RE Series. And you see how far back it is to Jason Jarrett in the 67. Made his way up into the 6th position.
We mentioned Doug Stevens came to pit road by making that stop-and-go penalty, having to go 45 miles an hour down pit road. He lost a lap, and we're getting a report that sprinkles are on the way. Will Jason Jarrett have enough time to get back to the front?
I don't know, Larry, but I know clocked him a minute ago. He was like almost a half a second faster than the leaders, almost a half a second faster than the leaders. Matt?
Well, Jeff, Lauren Ranier, the spotter for the 77 car, just chimed in. He said, race it like it's 5 laps to go. Race it like it's 5 laps to go. I can feel the sprinkles on the roof. I don't think we're going to go the distance.
So far, no caution. Damon Lusk in the 22, just 24 years old. Chad Blunt, 22 years old, looks underneath it.
You got to know they have a lot of laps to go, but they don't have much weather left in the sky, it looks like.
That's Robin Lusk, Damon Lusk's wife. Lusk is from Kennewick, Washington. She wants it to rain.
And Larry, another thing I want to point out too, with these leaders up here battling like they are right now, the guys back in 3rd, 4th, and 5th, they're going to be getting the benefit of that right there, be able to gain back on them.
Did you see the 77 wiggle?
Side by side. 77 car, Chad Blunt to the bottom. Damon Lusk in that high groove. It's been working good all day. Chad Blunt looks like he gets back to the throttle, though, side by side off of turn 4.
And look at Robin.
Great racing, great racing.
Caution is out. 46 laps, 45 laps remaining. Caution is out for rain. That's Chad Blunt's crew looking on. You see the dark clouds. Caution out for the 6th time this afternoon. And let's see who led that last lap. This could be for the win, guys.
Oh, man. Oh, wow. Looks like the 22 car by, boy.
By what?
Just a little bit. Macchio.
Harry, your chinny chin chin.
Well, Larry, last fall at the Atlanta race here, on Tuesday before that event, Damon Lusk received a phone call from the owner of this 22 car. He said, do you have a ride for Atlanta? He says, nope. He said, bring your helmet. You've got the ride for the weekend. He finished 8th. He held on for Daytona, where he finished 5th. He told me this morning he feels like he has a home here in this 22 car.
As you can see, the rain is coming hard.
And
we got another angle
Yeah,
here.
let's look at this finish from the infield. Yeah, it might be the finish. 77, Chad Blunt, the 22 of Damon Lusk.
He's gaining, and nope.
I believe that tells the tale right there. Kind of reminds me of finishing our Winston Cup race about a year ago.
I'm telling you right now, that was incredible right there. You can see the emotion right there on the crew members right there, how close it really was.
And ARCA officials are scoring Damon Lusk as the leader in the 22. Chad Blunt, the 77, the team owned by Todd Braun, listed 2nd.
Wow, that's close.
Man, I don't know how you call that.
Well, again, the way they can call it is they have the computer scoring on these cars, and they look immediately at a monitor, and they know exactly who crossed that start-finish line first.
Well, we're going to take a break, see if the rain clouds will go away. Damon Lusk being shown as the leader of the Pork the Other White Meat 400 here in Atlanta. Welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Well, it's official. After a lengthy rain delay, ARCA officials have decided to call the race, canceled after 118 laps. Look at the finish, the 77 of Chad Blunt, the 22 of Damon Lusk. Back to the start-finish line, and it's Damon Lusk scoring his first ARCA victory in his 19th ARCA start. This is his 3rd start at Atlanta. He finished 8th, 4th, and today he's the winner of the very first ARCA Series race, and he's going to be down in victory lane with Michael Waltrip. Take it away, Michael.
Damon, what a great race. Tell me about those last couple laps.
Oh, man, I tell you, I fell asleep in the car for a little while out there, and I was saying, let it rain, let it rain. I woke up, and it was raining. So next thing I know, we were headed out here and did some burnouts. I don't know if I can do them as good as you.
Man, that was impressive. I heard the rev limiter hitting. You were doing a nice job. Did you think you could hold Chad Blunt off? It was close.
I'll tell you what, Chad was good. He was pretty good. These guys on this team did so good. The Dynatech Chevrolet was awesome, and he was pretty good. I don't know if I could have held him off for long, but on long runs we were good. So just like to thank everybody involved. Hi, Mom and Dad at home. They're watching. So first win in the ARCA Series, and can't wait for more.
I think they're coming, too. You did a great job today. Congratulations. That was some great driving at the end of the race. Thanks to the Pork people for sponsoring us. One race around America. It's a wonderful program your owner's involved with, and congratulations again. Guys in the booth, tell Damon he did a good job.
I appreciate it.
Or let him tell y'all. I had it wrong.
No, he did a great job, Michael. Guys, how about that? On only his 19th start as we take a look at the results, Damon Lusk picks up his first career ARCA victory.
And did it in close form. And I want you to look at the 8th place finisher, Tina Gordon. If there was a person that benefited from this rain, when they parked him on the backstretch for the red flag, she'd been complaining about a vibration, a lot of fluid running out of that car. She would have never restarted this race.
But I want to add right now, she had ran a really good race up to that point right there. She had a very strong car, had definitely had a top 5 finishing. Excellent job. Don't want to miss Cam Strader. Started way back in 16th and worked his way up to 3rd place today. Good solid run for him.
And that was his very first ARCA start. 2001 Dash Series champion, finishes in 3rd position. But it's Damon Lusk in the 22 car, just 24 years old, out of Kennewick, Washington. Chad Blunt from Indiana in the 77 car finishes 2nd ahead of Cam Strader and Michael Berger. On behalf of the entire Speed Channel crew, thanks for being with us here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. For Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Matt Yoakum, Jeannie Zelasco, and Michael Waltrip, I'm Steve Burns saying thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.